Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, intuitive astrologer, empowerment coach, and Reiki master. And I'm here today, Saturday, August 7th, 2021, to talk about tomorrow's new moon in Leo. So before I start, I'm just going to do a little bit of business. If you are finding these videos of value, please like, subscribe, comment, and share the videos, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that whenever new content comes out, you will be one of the first to know about it. The second thing I want to say is that I go by whole sign Western astrology. So all the videos that I do are going to be based on that house system. What I'd like to talk about and why I was so inspired by this new moon is that it is in Leo. And Leo represents the sun represents Leo, and the sun rules our zodiac. So it truly is the sign of the king. A new moon in and of itself is where the sun and the moon come together and they act almost like father and mother, giving us opportunities to create something new under the dark of the new moon. It is the darkest phase of the moon, and therefore we are literally planting our seeds in faith and with intention rather than with an actual knowing and an experience. So we talk about the new moon in Leo. Every month we have a new moon in the sign of which month it is. But when we get to August and when we get to Leo, we get to the opportunity to start to focus in on the things that make us happy. Our hobbies, romance, our personal expression out in the world. Leo rules actors, it rules fun, it rules entertainment and games and laughter and, to me, silliness. So whenever we're looking at a new moon in Leo, we're getting an opportunity to create joy and happiness and frivolity, and in a way that sustains us, in a way that gives us an opportunity to feel like this isn't something that's fleeting, but rather something that can be consistent with our own intention and attention to the idea of our own personal joy being a priority. Again, the sun rules the zodiac. So therefore, any planet that comes in contact with the sun is in some ways what they call combust, because the sun will outshine it. So if we go with that theory, then Leo and the sun ruling Leo makes our personal experience here on the planet and the joy of that experience of the highest priority on a soul level. So how is this going to affect each one of you in going by your rising sign? So I'm going to start with Aries and work my way towards Pisces and discuss each house. So for Aries, this is going to happen in your fifth house. Aries is in the natural first house of the zodiac. And if we count 5 houses, we go to Leo. So the focus on this new moon for Aries is going to be the spark of creativity. It's going to be the planting of seeds that help move your personal story forward in the way of wanting to either have children, adopt a more childlike attitude, enjoy entertainments and fun and freedoms. And in such a way that you're setting an intention that is going to have a 6-month influence, because all new moons have a 6-month influence in that they go through a cycle. So we'll be starting at the new moon in Leo, and it will go to the full moon in Leo, which is going to be about 6 months from now. So in the dark of the night, in the unknowing of what's going to happen, in the idea of conception, where the sun, the man, and the moon, the woman, come together to create a new dynamic for you, Aries. And your job in some respects is to keep your eye on the prize while we traverse the other aspects going on throughout this year, which will break down the old barriers that have been restrictive and oppressive in some way. So thinking about, how do you feel joy? What entertainment, what fun, what privileges are you giving yourself to spend time enjoying yourself? All right, let's go on to Taurus. For our Tauruses, this new moon in Leo is going to be in your fourth house of home and family. This is where you are coddled and nurtured for the good or the bad in your home environment. It represents property, it represents land, it represents the earth with which I started to create my human experience. So fourth house being family, home, and hearth. For you, Taurus, I think this is really about what do you want for in the way of family? How do you want to feel about the people that you call family? Setting an intention for not what you've experienced, but for what you would really like to experience in the way of connection and the way of being seen for your authentic self, hence the Leo energy. This is also a little bit as a Taurus, you are a fixed sign. So you may have a tendency in some ways to boomerang back to what you know, but your ability to sort of get into a bullish energy of expecting the balance you're looking for in your home sector, in your feeling valued and part of a pack. That is really what this new moon has to offer you. Let's go on to our Geminis. For Gemini, this Leo new moon is going to be in your third house of everyday activities. Third house naturally rules Gemini. It is going to be in such a way that you're going to be dealing with a new opportunity when it comes to the way you think, the way you speak, the way you present yourself to others. The third house represents team activities. It represents, work projects in a team mode, team efforts. So this gives you an opportunity to sort of rewrite yourself in that environment and coming from a place that is really going to bring you joy, and also paying attention to how you are processing information. Because if for some reason you're processing information from a place that is instilling fear, trepidation, or a sense of hopelessness, then it's really about giving yourself the privilege to discontinue any saturation of information, any being around other humans that are out of alignment with you. And again, this plays to the new moon of planting the seeds for new dynamics in the way you think, you speak, the neighborhood you live in, the community you dwell in, the sidewalks you walk on, the roads you travel on. The third house is very communications heavy. So Gemini, thinking about your everyday activities and really focusing in on what you believe is going to bring you the highest and greatest amount of joy and pleasure. This is so important, pleasure. All right, let's go on to our Cancer. For Cancer, this is going to be in your second house. The second house naturally rules money and possessions. It rules our family history. So I think this is an opportunity for Cancers to plant the seeds of creativity in ways to make more money, or to start to give life to the possessions that you'd like to have that you may not have. And rather than thinking, there's this big cost attached to it, it's about allowing yourself to, think of this father, son, mother, moon coming together in the dark of night to create new opportunities for you to find value through your skills. The second house is naturally ruled by Venus, and Venus rules the voice and skills with the hands and beauty and harmony. So I think that's going to be something that's really important, is how can Cancer create a sense of harmony and joy and money at the same time? And I want to really emphasize the idea that this is not going to be something where you can look at an experience you've already had and say, oh, well, I did that, so now I can do this again. This feels very much a little bit like breaking ground. Like, I have to have a personal sun shining inside of me, Leo, representing the king, and knowing that as I shine that sunlight on whatever brings me joy, in some ways it will diminish the challenges around it. Because whenever the sun comes in conjunction with another planet, it outshines that planet. So if we think about the sun ruling our personal pleasures, our fun, our self-expression, our creative genius, when we're brave enough to put that out into the world, into our own personal world, then we will receive in some sort of validation coming back. So now let's go into our Leos. Leo, this is in your first house of self, which is really terrific. Excuse me while I take a drink. This is an opportunity for Leo to, I want to say, rewrite some of the more challenging dynamics that Leo has to put up with. Oftentimes people will say Leo is too big. Leo requires an audience. I don't know if I think that's necessarily negative. I think it's more about that holding space for that majestic enjoyment, and that this planet is really not designed to be this endless, arduous, Saturnian, oppressive, depressive chessboard. And somewhere along the line in humanity, we got off track. And yet astrology will constantly remind us that Leo is the king. So Leo, as you put yourself first this month, in this day of your new moon, you have an opportunity to start to reinvent yourself. And we will see evidence of that when we get to the full moon in about 6 months from now, when you'll start to see the culmination of these efforts that will allow you to move to the next chapter. So what do you want for yourself in the way of enjoyment, entertainment, pleasure, and taking a role of leadership? And this is not about dominion over others or telling other people what to do, but rather standing in a place of balance for your own enjoyment and pleasure, for your own sense of self, and then in that way, inviting others to join you in that endeavor. This is a very, very great new moon. I'm excited about it. All right, let's go on to our Virgos. Virgo rising. This is going to be in your 12th house. The 12th house is what they call the house behind the house of self. It's what we don't necessarily see in the obvious. The 12th house rules prisons and hospitals. It rules research and isolation, places where we do things alone. It rules the bedroom, but sleep in the bedroom, not activity in the bedroom. So for Virgo, I think this is an opportunity to look at this new moon and set an intention for you to sort of, Virgo tends to be practical in the earth plane, dependable in the earth plane, and of service to others. It's one of the main themes of Virgo. But how is Virgo of service to self? Because again, this may sound repetitive, but as we experience joy in the individual physical experience, we invite other humans to join us. And the more people that are enjoying their lives, the more joy there is in the ripple effect. And we start to rewrite this planet so that the challenges we encounter are not challenges to undermine us or to support another person's agenda, but rather challenges that give us resources and confidence that we have the capabilities to achieve our dreams. So with the Leo new moon, again, the new moon is the darkest phase of the night in Virgo's 12th house of isolation and in some ways dark. I think this is a great opportunity for you to sit in meditation, to call upon spirit to help you delineate and define what makes you happy. Because I think for Virgo, you're going to have to really take a minute, and because I think the first natural reaction is to think that being of service makes you happy. But if you take a second look, that being of service to yourself also enables you to be of a better and effective service to others. So I think it's super important for Virgo to look at What is behind you, or what is unseen that gets to be brought into the light, in the sense of Leo ruling the sun. And in doing so, it presents an invitation for more fun, more joy, more understanding of any challenges that may come across your path. For Libra, this is going to happen in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, of friendships, of networks, social media, humanitarian endeavors. So I think Libra, to me, I'm a Libra sun. I always think that Libra, this is rising, is going to want to help balance the planet, to bring more harmony and more beauty through social networks, through humanitarian endeavors. So this Leo new moon gives Libra an opportunity to really plant the seeds of joy. Again, we have the same themes of joy and romance and entertainment and pleasure and laughter and dancing and all things that are fun to the human, even the crossword puzzle, if that's what you enjoy. So this new moon for me is an opportunity for Libra to look into their networks, look into the groups and friends that you spend time with. And if there is something that you would like to line up, some seed you'd like to plant, maybe it's even endeavoring a new something on the internet, something creative, something like a podcast or a YouTube channel. This is a wonderful time to start to set that intention and start to, in your mind's eye, think about how that would work for you. Like, what would be the structure? How would you want it to play out? For Scorpio, this is going to be in your 10th house of career. Leo, 10th house. Wow, what a great house to have Leo in, because it's at the top of the chart where you're seen the most. And Scorpio represents what is unseen. So this is an opportunity, from my perspective, for my Scorpios to really look and see, what do they want to bring from underneath up into the light, into the sunshine, in the way of what you enjoy. Scorpio rules astrology. It rules the occult. It rules, other people's money, death, and taxes. It's sort of the more challenging dynamics of the commingling of humans, where we're intertwining our money, we're intertwining our structure of the universe, or structure of the marriage, taxes, inheritances, things like that. So when I look at this, I sort of think it's taking these ideas of Scorpio and what they represent and really giving a new spin on them, meaning looking at how, if I'm commingling my money, am I doing it from a place of fun or obligation? If I'm commingling my body with another person, am I doing it with the faith and the fun and the romance that Leo would like, or is there something else going on? This feels very much like, for Scorpio, an opportunity to look at what is unseen and what will become seen through the new moon, but in a way that will be very public to those around you. And I think it could very much have to do with your career as well, and rewriting that career from a place of, am I serving other people and serving myself, or am I just serving other people? This idea of Leo being very much about me, and the idea of the 8th house in Scorpio, and I say 8th house because 8th house is what it normally rules. This Leo new moon will be in your 10th house, which is, again, your career sector. It's where government resides and authority resides. So there's an opportunity to plant seeds in this house that will show evidence and bring about a next logical move within the next 6 months to move your career story forward, but in a way that is bringing you more joy, more pleasure, and more authentic to the real deep parts of you. All right, Sagittarius, this is in your 9th house. Leo rules your 9th house. This is the house of beliefs, the house of higher education, the house of travel, foreign ideas, foreign people, foreign places, It's a very curious house. It's an exploratory house. So for Sagittarius, I think this is an opportunity for you to plant seeds, to enjoy travel, to enjoy more esoteric studies, such as, you know, maybe thinking about getting your MBA or getting a PhD or taking that next level of certification in some ways towards what will move your story forward, for, I want to say wealth, for bringing more. And when I say wealth, I don't mean it necessarily in the way of money, but in the way of feeling a sense of harmonious wealth within who and what you are. Leo, again, is your personal pleasure, your personal expression, your personal entertainment. And this new moon is in the 9th house for Sagittarius. So there's a really good possibility that new experiences in foreign places or in foreign concepts or in foreign philosophies will really help you delineate even further what you enjoy and what you find pleasure and what you find satisfaction in. And I want to say that again, I feel like this is a 6-month cycle or a 6-month chapter. Whereas I plant these new seeds, by the time I get to the full moon in Leo, approximately 6 months from now, there will be a next logical step to take this to the next place. For our Capricorns, this is in your 8th house. Leo rules the 8th house, which is naturally ruled by Scorpio. The 8th house rules the commingling of money, the commingling of our bodies. It rules sex. It rules astrology, it rules inheritances. And so I believe for Capricorns, there's going to be an opportunity for you to start to rewrite your 8th house dynamics, how you commingle your money, how you plan your inheritances, how you engage in intimacy, and your curiosity about things that are unseen. Capricorn, I feel like this is an opportunity for you to shift from the old cranky goat to more the baby goat, the goat that's excited and popping up with a more curious nature versus the more, Capricorn often gets this depressed sort of stoic energy, doing things it doesn't necessarily like, but because it's been expected or there's duty attached to it. And I think this new moon in Leo gives you an opportunity to be the king in your own life and start to rewrite that, where that duty comes from a duty from your heart versus from somebody else's agenda. And I think of all the signs, this is the most exciting opportunity, because when Saturn starts to align with my dreams, Saturn rewards me in ways I could never expected and in ways that are long lasting, ways I can depend on for decades to come. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. For Aquarius, this is happening for you in your 7th house of partnerships. So this is really a fun opportunity for this Leo new moon, is a time when you can set an intention for creating partnerships and or contracts with business associates. Leo, the 7th house naturally rules contracts of a legal nature. So we talk about marriage, but business partners have a marriage. They may not be commingling their bodies, but they're commingling finances and intentions for outside activities in the real world. So for me, when I look at Aquarius seeing this new moon in Leo, it really gives you an opportunity to think outside the box. Aquarius is naturally ruled by Uranus and then Saturn in ancient times. So there's this opportunity to infuse a new energy into an old structure that gives it the roots and the legs to really stand the test of time. And this would be for me in a way that creates harmony. It creates a sense of diplomacy. It creates a sense of safety in discovery, in Aquarius naturally rules space. It rules science and technology. So maybe there's going to be a marrying or an intention to start a partnership for a new app or something for the internet. All of these things will be very viable. And again, if you're only watching your rising sign, I've been talking about how this is a part of a 6-month cycle that will then, when we have a full moon in Leo in about 6 months, you'll have completed the impetus, the beginnings of this, and then you'll move on to a more mature chapter of the intention you set during this moon. And last but not least, we have our Pisces. Pisces, this is in your 6th house of service. This is the house that naturally rules our health. It rules slavery. Many people are enslaved to their jobs because it pays their bills. And so there's this sort of cycle of dutifulness that's attached to the 6th house. I think for Pisces, this new moon in Leo gives you an opportunity to dig deeper into how you are of service. It's one thing in your employment, but are you being of service in showing joy? Joy also is the best thing for our health. So I think for Pisces, this is an opportunity to really look at how you're taking care of your health. If your eating habits and your health habits are supporting your joy, supporting the fun things that you want to do, and in some respects, supporting your ability to fantasize. And I say that because Neptune rules Pisces regularly, or by nature, in modern times, Jupiter in ancient times. And Neptune rules fantasy. And I think this is the fun kind of fantasy, the kind of fantasy that makes for great movies and great romance novels, as Leo rules romance. And when you start to apply that to the 6th house of how am I spending my time in my work and my service? Am I enjoying myself there? And if not, how can I plant the seeds at least mentally and emotionally, to get to a place where I enjoy my employment or I enjoy my entrepreneurship. I'm not a slave to my work, and I'm not a slave thereby to my stress, which then affects my health. So I think this is a really opportune time to dig in deep about joy, about spending time in a playful way that is not frivolous, but actually sees the wisdom of balance. All work and no play is not what the human experience is about. All play and no work, maybe, because when you're doing what you love and being what you love, you don't work a day in your life. All right. That's it for me for today, for the new moon in Leo, this August 8th, 2021. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification button and comment, and I'll be back soon with another installment of something exciting to help your spiritual journey on this earth plane and help you achieve all your dreams. So thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace out.